Okay, we got a 2008 Jeep Patriot. We were cleaning this up for someone's first vehicle. I think it had been sitting in someone's driveway for a long time before they decided to do that, and so we're kind of reviving it before the new driver takes possession of it. Probably gonna do this one a little different because the inside is very challenging. So rather than watching a ton of time lapse, I will probably kind of do a walk you through it and do a voiceover of what's happened, so that way you're not watching stuff for a long time. I'm gonna get going on the outside here. Obviously these wheels are they either need to get them some new ones, or you're gonna have to sand and paint these jobbies, because they're not gonna, that's rust. These aren't gonna look any better than that. So we will see what we can do here. Start with the engine bay per the usual. The paint is also got some issues. As you can see, it's doing some cracking or some separating or something, and it's like that pretty much everywhere. So we'll just make it better. That was kind of the understanding when we took this job, so we're gonna get after it. Alright guys, here we are starting on the back here, trying to get everything as good and clean as we can. This is the back hatch area. Normally my door jambs I do with a pressure washer, but this one's too bad. I was gonna make more of a mess than was necessary. So I did it by hand with a detail brush and some all-purpose cleaner. Takes a little longer, but you can make it look really nice like this one ended up looking. So just takes forever. But this one turned out pretty good. I was pretty happy with that. Just getting down in those cracks, because that mildew had really gotten built up in the cracks and door jambs. Here is a stain that was on the back of the back seat. I'm not real sure what it was, but it was there, and it was pretty challenging to get off. But the all-purpose cleaner and a drill, we made it look as good as it could. We also had to get under that seat. There was lots of stuff that had slid down between where the seats meet and gotten down in there. Here is rear driver side door jamb. This is before we tackled it. Again, this is going to be the same type of procedure. All-purpose cleaner and a stiff boar's hair detailer's brush. You got to get it all in its Kool-Aid. You got to get everywhere. But when you do, you can make it look correct. Otherwise, the black will stay in the seams, like where the door skin tucks around the door and where the rubber meets the white. All of that will stay ugly if you don't really get in there with a detail brush and get pretty serious about how you're going to get it clean. But this was the end of that little part there, and you can see we got all in the hinges right here. Just part of being the detail-oriented part of that. This is the behind the driver's seat in the floorboard area. I forgot to take a before picture, but this is how it ended up. So it turned out nice. You'll see the passenger here in a second. This is the passenger door jamb, similar to the driver's side, just a little worse, actually. I think this might have been the side the tree was actually on, because everything on the right side of this vehicle was worse than the left. But you can see all of that black buildup everywhere. And the only way that I found to get rid of that was my all-purpose cleaner. Left pretty strong, couldn't dilute it very much, and a detail brush. But that detail brush gets all in them cracks, and you can make it look like this. And it turned out really nice. I was pretty happy with this result here, given how it started. Just takes lots of time. I had 8 hours in the interior of this vehicle to get it where I felt comfortable with it. Here's the floorboard on the passenger side. This is what the driver's side looked like also. Like I said, I forgot to take that picture. But some all-purpose cleaner and a big brush attached to a strong drill, you can make it work like this as long as you keep working it. It just takes lots of time. Front passenger floorboard here, same deal. Vacuum, then brush, then vacuum again, and we ended up with this as our final product. It works great. It just takes lots of time. Center console. This vehicle was smoked in a previous life, so it had lots of ash that had gotten kind of burnt into things from the Arkansas sun. So it was pretty stubborn. But detail brush, good all-purpose cleaner. We get all down in the nooks and crannies, and we got it in pretty good shape. Here's a center console where you would slash armrest. This also flipped open. I forgot to take a picture of that, but we got all down in there with a detailer brush, and you can see it's actually a much lighter color once it's been cleaned. This was the most challenging part. This is actually Chick-fil-A Polynesian sauce that had been spilt above the glove box in a storage area, and I worked probably 30 minutes on this spot to make sure I could get all that stuff up, because it had turned into like a gluey paste that was just really hard to remove. But we got it. Here is the driver floorboard, actually the least dirty of all of them. I had already vacuumed it when I took this picture, but then we worked it to this point here. So it turned out pretty good in here, all things considered. All right, we got her in pretty good shape. Took a little doing. You'll see on the time lapse that I actually used my degreaser, cut 10 to 1 first, because it had this black moldy stuff all over it. and then I stars and stripes it, and then I snake oiled it. But in doing all that, she gets nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. There's no kind of drag or nothing like that. Super hydrophobic, so none of that stuff will stick to it again. And it's pretty good, honestly. It needs some wheels and or some spray paint, whatever they decide to do. The inside, you'll see a bunch of before afters and probably some voiceover on that stuff, but it turned out pretty good. All things considered, shampooed every seat, front and rear. Even had to do the roof. We had some brown stuff get on the roof, and I ended up having to shampoo the roof. We also got back here real good. I put their stuff back in, but we had stuff all back up in here. This jam was OMG bad. We got her ship shape. Trying to think what else was pretty challenging. There's a big old stain on the back of that seat down in there, that I'll be able to show you on one of the other pictures, but pretty happy with it. It came out pretty good. So if you like this kind of stuff, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you keep watching. It might slow down a little for me because I got to go back to my real job, but I think we'll have a few more things going. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy.